Okay. Okay.
Hi, this is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews, and I am your literary ambassador. And today I have Ebony Torn Tornerick Tornerick
Turonek.
Turonek,
Yes.
me, an author, and she's going to tell us all about her books today and all about Ebony. Now, tell us a little bit about Ebony, the author, the writer.
Ebony, the author, writer, E-Ray Turonek, is just a writer right now. I wrote Compelled to Murder back in 2007. After I wrote it, I sent it to a publisher. I wrote it as a screenplay, of course, because that's what I want to be. I wanted to be a screenwriter. So I sent it there, and they wrote me back, and they told me to switch it to book form. So when they wrote me back and told me to switch it to book form, I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing it. So I and 10 years by, and I was like, if I want to be a screenwriter and they want me to put it in book form, I need to put it in book form. So I had never written a book before, but I bought a book called You Can Write a Book, or You Can Write a Novel. And I wish I had it, but I actually gave it to another person who's looking to start writing. So I gave it to them. So I read that book. And after I read that book, I wrote Compelled to Murder. Back then it was called A Reason to Kill. I went to send it back to the publisher again, that same publisher, they were closed. So I had to call my cousin, Amira Shanice. She's the producer and director of New York Girls TV. And she helped me. She did it. She produced it. She published it on Amazon for me. And that's how it came about. So once she did that, I started the whole process of becoming an author. I'm one of my coworkers. She doesn't work directly with me, but she works for the post office, Tina Smith. She actually recommended my book for Book of the Month for ICU reading, and they picked it up. And after that, it's been pretty much rolling from there. I do work at the post office full time. I have 5 children, my husband and I, and we live in Davison, Michigan. So it gets pretty hectic trying to, have everything done and take care of them and write. I'm actually in the process of finishing the sequel now, so that's pretty much where I am or what I'm doing right now, finishing that sequel. It's due on July the 1st.
Okay. All right. Tell us about your books.
Okay, well, Compelled to Murder, like I said, is my first book. It was written as a screenplay. I switched it over to book form. It's been doing pretty well. I've been getting it out there. It's in a few libraries around here, like Clarkston, Davison, things like that. I've also recently acquired an agent, so I'm extending it 25,000 words, which I've already done. I sent it to her on May the 18th, actually the same day of the Hood Books Book Fair. I sent it off that day. Went to the book fair, which was wonderful. It was great. Hood Book ambassadors are awesome as well. So I sent that in. So this will be getting thicker, actually. This will be a bigger book.
Okay.
The first book fair I ever attended was the HBA, the Hood Book Fair. It's in Detroit. I met Rainisha Pittman there, who is another author. And she actually called me later and pulled me in on an anthology called Bah Humbug.
Okay.
There are several authors in this book. C.J. Hudson, me, Tito Bradley, Nisha Lane, Rainisha Pittman, Juan Diaz are all in this novel. It's centered around or based around the time of Christmas, but they are all murder, mystery, suspense stories. After I finished this one, she asked me to participate in another one called Off with His Head. I apologize. I don't have a copy of Off with His Head. I just went to the book fair, and I sold all of my books. I had one of By Humbug left and a couple of Compelled to Murder left. So they bought them all, which is a good thing. But it's called Off with His Head, and it's centered around Valentine's Day. They're all mystery suspense novels as well. Mine is called Malediction. And that's got several authors in it as well. It's actually a really, really good book, so you guys should actually check it out. By Humbug is one of the anthologies, and the other is Off with His Head. But my full book is Compelled to Murder, which is going to be extended, and it should be out soon. Compelled to Murder 2, the sequel, is due actually July 1st. And I have about 10,000 more words to write by July 1st to be finished with it. So that's what I'm doing currently as far as my books. After that, you can expect to see Rule Route 8, which is another mystery suspense thriller. I can't tell you what it's about yet, though. Okay. So, but that will be the next book that's coming. They all will be full-length books.
Okay. So what is your genre?
Mystery suspense is my genre. I don't want to pigeonhole myself, but the only thing I've written is mystery suspense. But I do have a novel that I plan on writing. I actually came up with the concept and some of the story back in 2007 when I wrote Compelled to Murder. It was supposed to be a screenplay as well. It's called Desire's Reverie, and it's actually a dark fantasy. So it's more kind of like Lord of the Rings mixed with Bridge to Terabithia type of deal. Or what's that one where the kids go in the closet? The Chronicles of Narnia, kind of like that one.
Okay.
So it's like a mix of that, but a little darker. So I can't really pigeonhole myself because that's what I'll be writing after Rule Route 8. So I'm all over the spectrum, I guess you could say. Anything that comes my way, I'm willing to try to write it. But my specialty is mystery suspense thrillers.
Okay. How do you feel about book reviews?
I love book reviews. Book reviews actually help you to gauge your readers, your audience. It helps you to figure out what might not be okay about the book. Nobody's perfect, so everybody has things that they think are okay and things that they think aren't okay, things you might need to work on, such as character development, anything. I haven't ran into any issues so far, but I know as I'm moving up the ladder, like I've just got an agent, I'm going to come in contact with some type of adversity or something where people are like, well, you need to do this or you need to do that, because everybody can improve. Everybody can do better. That's what it's, all about. So you can't be an author that's just like, oh, I'm perfect. This is my book. I love my book and that's it. And that's how it's going to be. That's just not, it's just not practical, So I love book reviewers.
Okay. Let me go back for a minute.
Okay.
You said suspense thriller is your genre. Have you ever thought about writing in another genre or been?
Yes, that's what that dark fantasy. I do want to try dark fantasy, maybe dark humor, because I can be funny too. I have some funny parts in my book, and I like to do humorous things as well. So I'm thinking about going with that as well.
When you're not working, when you're not writing, what would you be doing when you're not writing? What do you do when you're not writing?
I'm like everything. I work at the post office, and I'm the letter sorter. So at the beginning of the day anyway. So I get up in the morning, I open the post office. I have to be to work at 3 a.m., 2:45 really. I'm the one that opens. So I open up, I throw parcels up to like 70 pounds. So I'm pretty strong. I know I look skinny, but I'm actually pretty fit. I'm pretty strong because I carry heavy boxes all day. And I throw letters. I also, after I get off work around 11:30, I usually come home and write because my daughter has gymnastics. My son has t-ball. He plays t-ball as well. So I have to take them to their games, my husband and I. My other son, he's 17. He just got a job. So it's so much going on, you know, besides just doing that and writing, cooking, cleaning, teaching them. It's 5 of them, so that's a lot. It's 2 girls and 3 boys. So I never really have any downtime. Right now, I would normally either be writing or at my son's t-ball game, but my husband took him with my daughter, so I can have quiet here. So that's pretty much what I do. I usually try to get in bed by 10 o'clock at the latest, because you know I got to get up at like 2, because I have to be there at 3. So I sometimes it doesn't happen, sometimes it does. So I run off little sleep every day.
That's me. I go to bed by 7:30. I'm in the bed because I have to be up by 5:30.
Really?
Yes, because I have to get my son ready, get him off to school. Then I'm 20 to 30 minutes away from his school, and 5 minutes to an hour away from where I teach it. So
Okay.
it is what it is,
Okay.
I guess. But next question is, how do you get your books published?
Well, Compelled to Murder was published, like I said, through Amazon. My cousin published it for me, Myra Shanice. I don't know if I mentioned her already. She's the producer of New York Girls TV. It's a web series. So she does that. She's in California somewhere writing, but she helped me out with it and published it through Amazon for me. And that's the only book I've ever published. My other 2 stories were anthologies, so they were published by Rainisha Pittman. And I've got an agent now, so I won't be publishing the other one either. So it'll be going through whatever publisher picks me up.
Okay. What's the hardest thing about writing?
Time. For me, time, having time to do it. I don't really have problems writing. I'm always usually pretty full of ideas. The problem is having the time to put them down on paper. I mean, I get on the computer and time flies by, and it's like, you know, I got so much to try to get down on there, especially with the kids constantly needing things. It's time, you know, that's the hardest thing for me.
Okay. What inspires you to write?
What inspires me to write is, you know, I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave a legacy for my children, number 1. Number 2, I got to get it out somewhere. You know, the ideas are in my head. I dreamt Compelled to Murder, most of it. And then, of course, I woke up and just ran with it. But, you know, I want to put it on paper. I want to get all the stories that I have in my head out. And I like writing them, and I like for other people to read them and tell me what they think about them. I want to make movies. I want to be able to see my thoughts on screen, no matter how horrible they are. You know, I want to be able to look at something that came from me. So that's what inspires me to do it. That and my children.
What has been your greatest accomplishment thus far as writing?
As far as writing, my agent, Entice. That's been my greatest accomplishment so far, is gaining an agent. That's like the hardest thing to do. They're the gatekeepers of the literary industry. So I'm very, very grateful for that and appreciative that I have an agent. So that I would say that is my biggest accomplishment thus far.
Okay. What made you become an author?
What made me become an author, that a publishing company wrote me back and asked me to put it in book form. It was a screenplay. I want to do movies. So I was like, I'm not going to do it. And then when they wrote me back and said, we need you to put it in book form, eventually my husband's grandmother, she was on me a lot. Like, are you going to finish that book? Are you going to do that book? You need to do that book. So I did. I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and do it and finish it. I was nervous about it because I was like, that's going to take a lot. But, you know, switching something from a screenplay to a book for a person who's never had any experience in it is a lot, you know? So, you know, she kind of pushed me. She pushed me to it, and I'm glad she did. So,
yeah. And what do you think makes a good story for a book?
what makes a good story for a book? There's a lot of different concepts that would make different good stories for a book. I think what makes a book a great book is emotion. If you can make the reader feel emotion, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to tug at your emotions, whether it's anger, whether it's fear, whether it's happiness, whether it's titillation, whether it's whatever emotion it is, I want to bring it out of you in the most extravagant way. That is my goal. I want to touch you. I want you to read my story and think of it and say, dang, I want to see that movie. Dang, I wish that was a movie. I could just see it. I could just imagine, you know, that's how I want a person to be when they read my books.
As a child, what did you want to do when you grew up?
I wanted to be a lawyer when I grew up. I wanted to be a lawyer. My grandmother wanted me to be a reporter because she said I talk too much. So I liked that, and I liked law. So I went to school to University of South Alabama for criminal justice. I didn't finish, but that's what I went for. And my minor was English. So I've always liked English. I've always been good at English. I've always been good at writing. I've always liked reading, acting, all that good stuff. So that's basically what that's all about.
Okay. What has influenced you the most about your writing?
What's influenced me most about my writing? I don't know how to answer that question. What's influenced me most about my writing? What in what way? Like what's
Well, let me put it another way. What has influenced you the most about being an author?
I've had so many influences in the literary industry so far, like things I've picked up from people that have helped me along the way, little jewels and things like that. So I couldn't pinpoint one thing that influences me. I can tell you with all sincerity, I look towards positivity. I stray away from negativity. If I see an author is negative, I don't mess around with them at all whatsoever, because I don't need a reader too. I don't mess around with no type of negativity whatsoever. If I see it coming, it's gotta go. Cause I'm happy and I'm trying to continue to be happy. And I'm trying to outside of constructive criticism, because
Right.
you need criticism, you need constructive criticism. But I don't need anybody that's gonna just straight put me down, or people around me that put other people down. I don't get down like that, you know. So that's pretty much what I can say as far as influences. I like to be around positive influences, and there are plenty in the literary industry. You just have to look for it, you know.
Have you ever read any of your own writing after your book was published? Have you sat down and read your own book?
Heck yeah. Anytime I get to where I'm feeling like, how am I doing this? Who am I? What when I want to come back to myself, because that's one reason I never really liked reading a lot of other people's books, because I was always scared that I would take on their writing style. So I was like, oh, I don't want to take on anybody's writing style. So what I do now, when I read others' books, I go back and read my own as well, so I can be centered in who I am and how I write. So yes, with that being said, I definitely go back and read my work a lot.
Have any of your children or husband or family read any of your books?
I'm gonna move me. Hopefully, it doesn't make any noise. My husband read my book. Jason, can you get this for me? My husband read my book, and a lot of my family read my book. My daughter Christian read some of it. She's only 14. That better. She's only 14. So it's some parts in there. So I didn't really want her to read the whole thing. But to answer your question, yes, a lot of my family has read my book.
And what were their thoughts about reading?
They loved it. My husband actually read the book in how long did it take you to read the book? He read the book in 2 days. So
wow.
He loved it, and he was like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know you were a writer like that. Like you could write that well." So about that.
Okay. Did we talk about reviews?
We did. We talked about reviews. You asked me about how reviewers and
okay. Okay, and how can readers get in?
You still didn't tell me huh? I said you still didn't tell me what you taught.
Oh, what I teach?
Yeah.
Special ed.
Oh, you do?
At school.
That's dope. That's really, really dope.
And somebody asked me today, well, how many years you been doing it? And I was like, come August, when I go back in August, that'll be my 21st year.
Oh my God. I couldn't imagine how hard that is. I have one cousin who teaches special ed, and I know I haven't had really in-depth conversation with her about it, but here and there, and that's a difficult job to have.
Mm-hmm.
I commend you for that. That's a difficult job to have mentally, especially mentally.
Well, I started out in elementary, and I did 1 year of middle school alternative, and then last 15, I've been in high school. And I'm ready to retire. And I went and asked, could I retire? They was like, nope, you got 8 more years. I'm like,
8 more years? Woo.
Lord, because I came in, it's according to your age here, by when you can retire. And I came in so kind of early. Like some people who come in after 50 can retire in 12, 15. But since I came in so early, I'm having to stay longer. I'm like, wow. So ready, because it gets harder. And when I mean harder, every year, this was the hardest. The ninth graders that came in this year, I mean, it's getting, as far as the kids' attitudes and their respect is at an all-time high. And graders this year, I've never, ever in 15 years of being in high school had a ninth grade class that really took it to another level. I've never. Wow. They were the smartest, but they were the most disrespectful. I mean, they were past a 10. And it was
what? I can imagine high school
get
kids
up and walk out. They were so disrespectful. And I was like, I'm just going, I got 8 more years because I have a baby. I got to get through elementary, middle. And so I got
have you thought about just going back to the younger kids?
Oh, no. I don't want to do, No.
No. Oh, okay.
No. I mean, I can deal with high schoolers, but this set of this group that came in last year, they were, I don't know, it just like, it was really, really rough this year. And like I say,
Yeah.
this high school for 15 years, and I've never had the problems I had this year, ever. And I'm
That's unfortunate.
trying to figure it out, pinpoint it, and all I can think is parents need to take more responsibility.
Definitely. Definitely.
It
Parents.
just it's got to be, and I'm being a mother. My mother mode kicks in, and they be like, well, "You ain't my mama," and I get that kind of thing. But I am your mama from 8 to 5, 8 to 4. But
I know that's right.
they don't. Some of them see it like that. Some of them don't.
Yeah. That's
So,
unfortunate though.
and the last question I have for you is: there anything you would like to add before we close out?
That I like to. And I hear ask me about one of the things, guys. Sorry, one of the things.
You're really breaking up really bad, right?
Start writing. Excuse me. Excuse me.
You're really breaking up.
I couldn't hear.
Bad. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
You can't hear me?
You had broke up really bad. I asked you that question.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. What I wanted to add was that you asked me about the reason I'm doing this, and one of the reasons that I'm doing it, besides my children, is because of my parents. They live in Saraland, Alabama, and my dad is retired. He's well into his 70s.
Mm-hmm.
He still rides a Harley and everything, so he's not like broken down or anything. But my mom is one to retire as well. She's an accountant for the symphony, and they keep giving her better raises and stuff, so she won't leave and she won't retire. But she's old, and I'm like, oh, she's not old. I don't mean to say it like that. She's older. And I want her to be able to come home. So in order for me to be able to take care of my parents, I got to get a lot of money real fast.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to just happen real fast, but I want to be able to take care of my parents. My parents raised, took care of me. I want them to be able to relax and do whatever they want to do in their latest years on my dime. So that's another reason that I'm doing this. And the last time her boss gave her a raise, she told her, I want to move up back to Michigan with my kids, with my daughter
Mm-hmm.
and her children. And she said, eventually there's not going to be an amount of money that you can pay me to keep me here. And her boss told her, don't count on it. So I'm waiting for me to get this big movie deal so that I can call her and let her know I'm coming for my parents. So that's what I wanted to add.
Okay. Now tell us again tell us where we can get in contact with you, or your readers can get in contact with you.
My in contact with me, of course, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Um, actually, I need to take that off of there because actually my phone number is actually right on Facebook. My website address is youre.books.us. So I also have my website. They can get Camille to Murder on Amazon. They can get it at some of the local libraries, Barnes and Noble. And of course, it'll be a lot of other places coming soon because I've already done the extended rewrite version. So when it comes out under different producers or publishers, I'm sorry, you'll be able to get it in other places as well. But I can always be messaged on Messenger for books and things like that. I'm around, definitely.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming in today. And this is Author Ebony Turonek'S.
Turonek. That's right. Turonek.
Turonek, Ebony Turonek.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you for coming in and gracing us today. And thank you for your craft, your time.
Thank you for having me. It was tough getting this going with my laptop camera and not showing up, the little technical difficulties we had beforehand, but I really, really do appreciate you. I do want you to know that I'm very appreciative to have this platform. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day.
All right. This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews. Happy reading, everybody. Till next time. Bye.
Bye, Queenie.
Bye.